Favor brings you into prominence. Well, if I have favor, why am I having these difficulties? Why did these people come against me? Why did business slow down? Having favor doesn't mean you won't have challenge, but favor is what's going to keep the challenge from defeating you. And sometimes God will put you in a situation so He can show you His favor. One definition of favor is to endorse, to bring to prominence, to give notoriety. If you ask someone to endorse your book, you find a person who has more influence, more credibility, a bigger following than you. When they put their name on your book, their prominence instantly gives you more credibility. Oprah Winfrey used to have her book club. When she would endorse a book, the author might have been unknown. Nobody had ever heard of them. Without the endorsement, the book would sell a few thousand copies. But when Oprah said on her talk show, "This is a great book, you should read it," that simple endorsement could cause the book to sell hundreds of thousands of copies. It's great to have people endorsement, but you need to get ready. The creator of the universe is about to endorse you. God is going to make things happen that are so big, so amazing, that people will know it couldn't have been just you. The medical report said you were done. How would you get well? God endorsed you. His favor caused you to overcome what looked impossible. How would your business get so successful? How would you get so far ahead? We went to the same school. God endorsed you. He showed His favor so people would know that you belong to Him. This is what happened to Daniel in the scripture. Favor didn't keep Daniel out of trouble. The trouble was a setup for God to endorse Daniel, to bring him into prominence. Daniel was a teenager living in a foreign country. The king made a decree that no one could pray to any god except to the king himself. But Daniel worshipped Jehovah. He made the decision that he wasn't going to compromise, so he kept praying just as he did every day. Some people saw him praying and ran and told the king. The king had Daniel thrown into a den of hungry lions. That should have been the end, but for some reason, the lions couldn't open their mouths. I can hear one of these lions saying, "I'm hungry. I want to eat this guy, but my jaws are messed up." Favor doesn't keep you out of the lion's den, but favor will keep the lions from harming you. The next morning, the king went to check on Daniel. When he found out Daniel was okay, he said, "From now on, we're all going to worship the God of Daniel." Well, Joe, maybe that was a lucky break. Maybe the lions weren't hungry that day. No, when they brought Daniel out of the lion's den, the king had them throw the people who were against Daniel into the den. Before they hit the bottom of the pit, the lions tore them apart. When people saw that, they knew the Lord was on Daniel's side. God is going to do something things that bring you into prominence, into new levels of influence and credibility. People can debate what you say, but they cannot debate what they see. When they see you running the company, paying your house off, and graduating with honors, they will know God is endorsing you. When they see you breaking the addiction, beating the cancer, coming out of the lion's den unharmed, and accomplishing dreams way over your head, they will know God's hand is on your life and He's about to bring you into greater prominence. You've been in the background long enough, serving faithfully, helping others with no recognition. Your time is coming. David spent years in the Salford fields taking care of his father's sheep. And I'm sure at times he thought, I don't have favor, I'll never do anything great. I'm stuck out here. Nobody believes in me. The truth is, you don't have to have people believe in you. The Most High God believes in you. When David defeated Goliath, that one good break, that one endorsement, launched him into a new level of his destiny, and it made up for all those lonely years. You may feel like you are falling behind, like it's too late to accomplish a dream, like you'll never get well. What God can do for you in one moment will put you 50 years down to the road. That's the power of God endorsing you. The seal of approval. You've seen a seal of approval on certain products. It may be stamped on the outside of a company's box, and it can be on a little known product. Nobody's ever heard of it, but when that big company puts their stamp on it, their seal of approval, that product has notoriety and prominence, not because of what it is, but because of who endorsed it. The creator of the universe is about to put his stamp on you. He's already accepted and approved you, but he's about to endorse you. He's about to go public. He's going to show people that you belong to him. You're going to accomplish what you couldn't accomplish on your own. People are going to go out of their way to help you. You're going to defeat giants that are much bigger. People don't think you have a chance, but they don't know what's on you. They cannot see the favor yet. But when God endorses you, when He shows you out, they're not going to have any doubt that the Lord is on your side. Joseph's brothers threw him into a pit and eventually sold him into slavery. He was falsely accused of a crime, put in a prison for something he didn't do. All the odds were against him, but the scripture says Joseph had favor in everything he did. One thing I've learned is that you cannot keep a favored man down. You cannot keep a favored woman down. You may have some obstacle situations that are unfair. That doesn't mean you don't have favor. Challenges come to us all, but favor is why you're not going to stay down. Favor is why you're going to rise back to the top. Joseph spent 13 years in the background, being overlooked and mistreated. There were plenty of lonely nights. He didn't get bitter. He kept doing the right thing. One day, Pharaoh had a dream that no one could interpret. So they broke Joseph out of a prison and into Pharaoh's presence. Now he was standing in front of one of the most powerful people of that day. Joseph interpreted the dream. Pharaoh was so impressed that he made Joseph the prime minister, second in command. I can imagine that meeting took no longer than an hour. Joseph walked in as an imprisoned slave. An hour later, he walked out as the prime minister. You don't know what God can do in an hour. He can take years of heartache, years of being overlooked, years of praying, believing, not seeing any good breaks, and in 1 hour, He not only can deliver you, not only bring a dream to pass, but He can do something that catapults you to a new level of your destiny. How can this happen? The favor on your life. When God breathes on you, doors will open supernaturally. Obstacles that look permanent will turn around. People who were against you will suddenly be for you. Years later, Joseph's brothers came to the palace looking for food, the same ones who had thrown him into the pit. There was a great famine in their country, and they had traveled to Egypt. Now Joseph, the prime minister, was in charge of the food supply. The brothers had done their best to keep him down, but God knows how to endorse you. He knows how to put you in a position of prominence. You may feel like you are in a pit today. Don't get discouraged. We all have pit stops along the way in life. The good news is that is not your final destination. God has an endorsement coming, and I've learned that the greater the opposition, the greater the endorsement. Much as with a bow and arrow, the more the enemy tries to pull you back, the more you're going to go forward. He thinks he's pulling you back to hinder you. He doesn't realize he's setting you up to shoot farther than you've ever imagined. When God says it's time, you're going to shoot into prominence, shoot into new levels of influence, leadership, respect, income, and credibility. When the brothers saw Joseph and finally realized who he was, they nearly passed out. They thought they had gotten rid of him. But what they meant for harm, God used for good. God is not going to just deliver you, not going to just bring you out. He's going to endorse you. He's going to put you in a position of prominence where people can see you honored, respected, and admired.